Hmm. Oh, we are live. Hey, what's going on, Jeromes? We're back, Daily Jeromes live stream. Happy Monday out there, everyone, everywhere. Minnesota Fighting Vikings, the best 7-9 team in NFL history. Woo, woo. But we're into the more important season, the off season. Yes, would have been nice to make the playoffs. Is what it is. So there we go. So I'm just keeping abreast. I'm just waiting for Maru Maloof to get fired. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion, right? At least it should be. Anyway, I got a ton of Q&A. We'll do some shout-outs here in a hot second. Thanks for coming along, making this part of your day. First up, Miles. They should have Cook family blow the Gallahorn, the home opener next year. Would be great for them, and the bank would be rocking. Yes, absolutely be a great way to honor the late James Cook, Dalvin and family all up in there. So, yeah, it would be really, really good. Plus, hopefully, fans back next year one time. Ryan O'Sullivan, I just want to say I'm absolutely hyped for this draft and the future of this team going into next season. I also want to thank you for being the best source of Vikings information and entertainment for the season and the offseason to come. Hey, thank you. Although half the comments are like, hey, this other channel's better. Oh, man. Well, the thing people don't realize is that we're not in competition. Like, we don't care what other people are doing. I mean, let them live their own lives, man. We're just here. We got you guys. We got the Jeromes, a nice little community being built up, not taking ourselves too seriously, talking some ball. I mean, also some meat, barbecue. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Sport God. Does Herbert's stat padding game against the Chiefs backup seal him in his offensive rookie year? I don't think so, but it seems like the general public does. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think that Herbert is still going to win, even though we've talked about how it's absolute foobar. All right, so cool. He threw for 4,000 yards. Same thing with 10 other quarterbacks this year. I mean, Justin Jefferson had one of the best, if not the best, rookie wide receiver season ever. And still, I mean, Herbert might win because he's a quarterback. What's the deal? You say that our O-line is bad. How bad is it really if Dalvin is this good? Imagine if we had a good one, what we could do. Well, no, that's oversimplification. We're talking about that they are phenomenal in run blocking because that's where they're specifically drafted to do, especially in the outside zone scheme, putting a premium on movement skills. But pass blocking, especially in one-on-one situations, especially in twist spots where they have to rely on communication, that's where things break down, right? So it's almost like there's two facets of playing offensive line. Joe Stupka, Vikings win a playoff game. The tank for Trevor portion of the fan base. We should have lost for a better draft pick. Now, take it to extreme. Vikings in the Super Bowl. If we lose, we get the 31st pick, which is way better than the 32nd pick. Woo! R-free. Is Zimmer capable of getting to the playoffs consistently? We've been every other year for quite some time. Would think that after this many years, Coach GM together, they should be more consistent. Well, talent is there, but it just does seem like at certain times, close games don't go the Vikings' way. Now, I feel like 2020 could be a departure for that, especially with this young team rebooting on the fly. Then I know you may scoff at, well, the Carolina game was a fluke, the Jaguars game, the Lions game, all those games don't matter against bad teams. Well, this young up-and-coming team won close games. That does matter, and I think that it matters for Zimmer as well. Even though, my God, that time management before the halftime of the Saints game, come on. Now, the average gamer. After the Jags draft Lawrence, would you be all right if the Vikings sent over a fifth for Minshew and have him sit behind Kirk, or would you rather draft a QB? Yeah, Minshew would be better than anyone you're probably going to get in the fifth. So I would be fine with that. In fact, I'd be on board with that. Colin Andrist. Did you see where Everson Griffin retweeted a tweet about him returning to the Vikings? Yeah, Everson does that from time to time. So I think that Everson would want to come back. Like, he hasn't moved, so that's easy. Also, I think that I think he would be open to taking a small contract with some incentives in there. And frankly, the way that the Vikings edge rush depth went down this year, I mean, go get him. Bring him back. Because they wanted him back last year, but they just wanted him on the cheap. And they didn't get him for the cheap. And look what happened. Torrey Hansen. What would be the perfect offseason for you, as in players drop, players we signed in free agency, and the Vikings' top 3 picks? So players dropped. Harris, Wilson, Dakota Dozier. Todd Davis resigned. Troy Dye, obviously going to be here. Todd Davis back. Mike Boone, Afadi tendered. Big free agent signing, Joe Thuney. Go out and get him. And top draft picks. Say that stick and pick. Kwity Paye at 14. God, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. If he's not available, I would take Aziz. I would take Aziz over Rousseau. As crazy as that sounds. I mean, so I dug deep on Aziz the last couple weeks. Dude. So Kwity Paye or Aziz at 13, or Wyatt Davis, no matter what. If you can't get him, it really sucks that Zion Johnson went back to school. Or Wheeler Walker Little Jr. Trey Smith, I'm warming up on. Everyone says that Trey Smith is a plotter, except I don't see it. Like he's not Ezra Cleveland in terms of movement skills, but Duke can get it anyway. Third round, Jack Anderson and Desmond Ritter. Nicholas Meyer. Thank you for all the thought-provoking content, Andy. You have created a great space for Vikings fans. Keep up the great work. Hey, thank you. Best 0-0 team in NFL history and potential 3 techs in free agency. Rushman needs some help. Not particularly. No, I think the best chance is going to be in that draft. And even though I completely skipped over 3 tech in our thought experiment like 2 seconds ago, Twyman makes a lot of sense. Stills makes a lot of sense. On Wuzariki from Washington, I really like. So, I mean, there will be options there. Maybe even Davion Nixon. Leon Art 06. When Rudolph gets cut, he'll be in our hearts. And then he'll go to Cincinnati. He'll pair up with Kyle Pitts and just get after it with Joe Burrow. Zach Farmer. Dan Bailey is so deep in his own dome, I'm not sure he'll ever recover. Yeah, he's lost. He's broken. He's lost. Pazmella. Seen a lot of mock drafts saying we're taking Gregory Rousseau in the draft. Thoughts? I have my reservations. I do. I worry if he has enough bend to consistently get the edge. Now, he can play up and down the line. So situationally, could he become more of like an Eric Armstead? Sure. But just in terms of a pure edge rusher, I don't know. Max Kallenberg. Keeman Jefferson, my keeper league. Future is bright. Absolutely. Steve Patton. All available at 14. Pick one and explain. Devontae Smith, Kwity Paye, no pants for Trey Lance, one of the tackles, or Wyatt Davis. In this spot, I would take Trey Lance. Although I don't expect him to be available at 14, because I think that there will be a run on quarterbacks, possibly 4 in the top 12, maybe even more, especially with the Niners ahead of the Vikings, and also, of course, teams trading up and around. But if I had to go win, play, show, Trey Lance, Devontae Smith, although I don't know, he might have to murder someone to get to 14. I would go Trey Lance, Devontae Smith, even though it's not a position of need, just adding that dynamic dimension. And also, do you think the Vikings will continue to be a run-first team with Jefferson, Devontae Smith, and Adam Thielen? Do you? Maybe. No. Then Kwity Paye. Then I would go Davis, Slater, Leatherwood, Darrisaw. Andrew Dreisbach. Also, this could be a realistic situation where I think that one of the edges will be gone by the time the Vikings are on the clock. So I think the Vikings may have a choice between like Aziz and Rousseau. I think one of the offensive linemen not named Penny Sewell will be gone. So maybe it is going to be a choice between Slater and Leatherwood and Darrisaw and Wyatt Davis. I mean, it's going to be intriguing. Andrew Dreisbach. With how the season finished up, if Zach Wilson ends up at 14, do you select him? I mean, yeah, I don't expect him to drop to 14. No. Statfield. Would you be mad if the Vikings traded back into the first round to get their guy? No, absolutely not. I'm a big proponent of go getting your guy. And also, I think the Vikings could be, because they have 23 players from the last 2 draft classes in the sphere. Actually, more than that, 25, because if you add in UDFAs, yeah. So eventually you just run out of roster spots. Like I know that Rick likes his picks, but now might be the time to take those 7, top 130 picks and turn them into 3 top 50. Shiver Timbers. Did you see Everson Griffin retweeting? Yes. Zach C. Just want to say appreciate all your work and content you put out this season. Found your channel by the algorithm happenstance and got hooked. Looking forward to the draft breakdown. Skull. Hey, thank you. You guys are the best. Also, let us know where you're watching from. Give a couple shout outs. Hunter Williams, greetings from Savage. Skull production value. Thank you, Allie and Andy, for making great content. How come she got first billing? I feel like the Vikings will be great next year. Do you have a Viking signed memorabilia? I have a pair of Chris Carter signed gloves that are actually in the safe deposit box. I should probably hang them up. Also, so that Diggs poster, I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, that's signed. Next up, did you see Everson Griffin's Twitter page? Yep. Nicholas Meyer. Overall, I'm frustrated with a good record of 4-2 in the North. Yet the fraudulent Bears will make the playoffs 8-8. The team is better than they should. Motivated for next season. I am Skull. Yeah, I mean, this season is going to be a great building year. All these young kids got experience. They learned how to win tight, close games late. And yeah, I mean, don't sleep on this season. I understand a game here or a game there, but I mean, this team also massively overachieved. Given the handicap of that many injuries. Andrew Dreisbach. I know you posted a video on Everson Griffin. Did you see the retweet? Yes, we saw the tweets. Gavin O. I think that we shouldn't pass on Waddle. We could possibly find edge later in the draft, like we've been doing with Daniil Everson Wanham. I think we got to start preparing for when Thielen to leave. Thielen does turn 32. 32, right? Somewhere in there. But also Waddle, if that ankle checks out, like Waddle, I mean, you can make a good case that Waddle was better last year than Devontae Smith, which is just bat bleep insane, right? A couple shout-outs. Let's see here. Daniel Tuma, skull from Maryland. John Anderson TV, skull from Sweden. Patrick Harm, skull from Cedar Rapids. What's up? Purple Rain, skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. Devin A. Toff, skull from Playa del Rey. What's going on? Yeah. Dan Acri, skull Vegas. Wish I was in Vegas. I should go to Vegas in the offseason. Shane Jensen, skull from Mankato. What's going on? That's right. Thanks for coming along, making this part of your day. You guys are the best. All right, next up. Shiver Timbers. People need to stop freaking out over the schedule so early. So many things can happen in the season. Remember the start of the season, Vikings versus Texas, the playoff game. The Cowboys were Super Bowl contender. Yeah, I mean, lots of things do go on. Also, any schedule that is devoid of the NFC East, it's like, oh, that's a tough schedule. Yeah. Miles. The fact that we don't know if Dakota Dozier is a starter or not next year is sad. It truly is. Like, no. Please no. Joe Stupka. If we trade Rudy, how much do you think we get back from? Not much, especially given his contract. Like, maybe you get a conditional 6th-round pick or 7th. That's probably about it. But I think the more likely scenario is a cut, and then he signs somewhere else. Sam Olson. If Peo Rousseau falls to 14, do you see Zimmer with his defensive mind taking one of them, or will he try and fix the O-line? Well, he'll always lean defense first, but luckily it's Spielman who has final say. So I guess it all depends on who is on board, because also I think the Vikings are in a perfect trade down spot at 14 if a team wants to come up, because remember, it does take 2 to tango. So, I mean, yeah. Atso Makinen. This team has a great future with the young talent, but that talent is wasted with Zim as our head coach and Kirk as our quarterback. Kirk played well. Like, I get the Zim critique, especially with how the defense went, except Kirk, after the bye, I mean, he played how you wanted him to play. Just didn't really work out. Leonard 06. If Dozier somehow gets re-signed, we riot. Absolutely. Tyler Newman, thoughts on Deo is that spelled right? I know nothing about this guy. I know nothing. It's probably because he plays at Vanderbilt. But let's dig in. So D-line, 6'6", 276. Oh, by the way, someone commented that Kwity Paye needs to gain weight. He's the try that again. He's the heaviest edge rusher in the class at 277, 278. Like, what? No. I know nothing about this man, but I'm sure I'll get to him. Ryan Topper. Why don't we just bring back Everson and not draft an edge? Because Everson and Wanham swapping with Daniil on the other side with Pierce and Shelvin or Lee McNeil between them will be fine. It's not the worst idea. Now, I still think that if Everson will come back for less than $3 million, you'd be stupid not to. Stanley Morris. I know you're not thrilled about Mac Jones, but I watched every Alabama game this season, and he looked damn good. Maybe the talent around him makes him look better. But we all said that about Burrow last year, that JJ and Chase and Joe Brady made Joe Burrow. I feel like Jones could be our Burrow, maybe a 2nd or 3rd round pick. I think Jones is probably going to be a 1st round pick. Yeah, just inputting All the rumors and scuttlebutt. I think Jones. I think it's gonna be 5 quarterbacks in the first round. I think Trask misses out because I think the NFL knows. But Mac Jones at 14. No. Stanley Morris. Let me guess. No tape on Kyle Hinton. Only caught bits and pieces of the game. Yeah, he was a healthy scratch. But also him being a healthy scratch, but him being called up to the 53 tells me that the Vikings were spooked about him getting poached off the practice squad. Like maybe other teams were even inquiring and ready to go. And then they decided to put Hinton on the 53 because they didn't want to lose him like they did Alexander Hollins. Patrick Harms, when will you be doing a mock this offseason? Probably every day. I love the draft, man. Draft is a ton of fun. Also, so I like the draft. Like I will never, ever say that I'm a draft expert or so-called draft expert. No, I'm a big fan of the draft, and I think that's the way that we should all approach it. Luke Russert, Hercules is a bad mod off to keep up with the content. Andy Skull, thank you. Yeah, Herc had the only sack, had 4 of the 9 pressures yesterday. Yeah, he wasn't quitting. He wasn't giving up. Abdi, the Finns have the 3rd pick. I believe they're going to pick a playmaker like Smith for Tua on offense. Would you be willing to trade Thielen and others to move up to number 3? I think it would take a lot to move up to 3. Also, I mean, why would they trade for Thielen when they can sign like Allen Robinson in free agency, don't have to give up draft picks, and then also just draft Devonta Smith? John Anderson TV, can you do a profile on Ian Book? Yes, but only off of his Alabama and Clemson tape. But yeah, we'll get to him. I still like him. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. Kevin Castanway. Packers signed Snacks. Maybe they can finally stop the run. He looked good yesterday. Stanley Morrows. If the Vikings are dead set on quarterback round 1, big if the top 4 quarterbacks are already gone by 14, how much of a reach do you think it would be for Mac Jones, Trask, Ritter, anyone else? I think it would be a massive reach for Trask. I think it would be a reach for Ritter. Mac Jones, I wouldn't necessarily be upset about, although I like Mac Jones. I don't love him. Yeah. Not really a question. It would really suck to see Anthony Barr on another team next year because he really likes his team. When he turned down a bigger contract just to stay with the Vikings, showed his dedication to the organization. I hope he can stay on the team. He didn't turn down. Wait, no. He didn't turn down a bigger contract from the Jets. No. 11th hour, the Vikings just upped their deal at the last second. So, no. I think Barr probably is going to be back because Zimmer's going to be back, and Barr is a big. Barr and Zimmer are tied at the hip. I'm just waiting for it. I want to see it. I want to see Maloof fired. Hasn't happened yet. Back at a lower number. Next up, R3. So judging by the same below average O-line play from Dozier with no rotation in the final game, it's safe to say if Dennison stays, we've already seen our 2021 starting 5. Better not be. God, better not be. Shiver Timbers. Saddest part about the season is if we had won one more game, we would have made the playoffs. Is what it is. Miles, would Daniil do better on the right side? I know the quarterback can't see him, but left tackles are usually better than right tackles. I think your thoughts. Well, it's not so much that they're better, especially now since it's sort of, money-wise it hasn't become an equilibrium, but talent-wise, you're seeing a lot more athletic right tackles on the right side because it always used to be, so right tackle is your earth mover. He is your Phil Loadholt. He is the guy that you run behind on that right side. And then your left tackle is going to be that dancing bear, the dude with ballerina feet. Now, I think that's sort of evened out a little bit. But what Daniil does, even though, so in, 2018 when Everson missed 5 or 6 games, with his stuff, that Daniil, they flipped him over to the right side. So he took over on the right side of the defense, the left side of the offense. Now, in college, he primarily rushed from the left side, the close side of the field, against the tight ends, against the right tackles. Now, I think Daniil is uniquely talented in the fact that he's phenomenal against the run. He definitely has the strength to hold up against larger right tackles generally. And then also he's got the speed where even if you're chipping in with the tight end, you have that right tackle, and also you're going to get the strong side running back that he's still going to be able to get to the quarterback. So I think that part of it is comfort, part of it is familiarity with the side of the field. But I mean, pending who the Vikings get for the other side. Yeah. Next up, Patrick Harms. Obviously, the season was a bummer, but at least we got a full season. This team is very young, and we have a lot to look forward to. Yeah, I mean, it took some of the conversations from the offseason in the summer, people talking about the NFL and the college football season. Frankly, it's kind of a miracle that it all got done. We only need a coaching staff that isn't so stubborn. Yeah, they do need to open things up a little bit. Luke K, would you try out Easy, Hinton, Bradbury, Udo, and O'Neal next season? Yes. Actually, that would be ideal. Pending free agent and draft. Hi, Tony. Eric Anderson. How do the Vikings address wide receiver 3 spot for 2021? I'd like to see them draft a guy who also has return ability. Well, Devontae Smith has some return ability. But, I mean, there are a gang of guys in there like Daz Newsome, Tutu Atwell. I mean, there's a really... Actually, this draft is pretty good in terms of guys with big return ability as well as some upside as a wide receiver 3-4. Jake Lagavin. And he was originally on the tank for a higher pick train, but after the Sunday, I'm 100% off going forward. Watching the Vikings play a meaningless game took away all the excitement on Sunday. It's so much more fun to watch when there's hope. We squeak in the playoffs, you play to win the game. Yeah, win the game. Miles, can you repost the Garrett Bradbury interview? Yeah, producer Ellie was going to do that. Button Brawler. Can you do what you do for the Vikings for... Let's try again. Can you do what you do for the Vikings for the teams that are in the playoffs so I have something to watch? I watch like all your videos and now I have nothing to watch. Happy New Year. What are we talking about? We're talking about draft, man. Yeah. After watching the Big Ten Championship and the Ohio State Clemson game, I would take any of those Ohio State offensive linemen. They look absolutely amazing. Yeah, but Wyatt Davis looked bad against Clemson. No, Wyatt Davis, I mean, he was tested for sure. But also, I mean, does one marginal game really negate 2 years of awesome tape? No. The average gamer. Also, man, I wonder if Justin Fields is going to be healthy enough to play on the 9th. I don't know, man. The average gamer. Also, when does that 17-game schedule kick in next year? And your thoughts on the Vikings opponents next year? 17, no. MJ the GOAT. Jefferson, realistic yard predictions, and do you think he will end his career in Minnesota? I think that he will, but won't stay here forever unless he is that kind of guy. Skull, we go undefeated in 2021. Yard prediction next year? 1,600. 100, 1,610. There you go. Let's hear. End his career in Minnesota. I think that he will sign an extension. So that would take him out to like 9 years. I think he'll spend his first 9 years with the Vikings. I think he'll win 2 Super Bowl rings. I think that he'll spend his next 2 years with the Saints, playing for his hometown team, and then he'll sign a one-day contract, with the Vikings to finish out his career. So yes, he'll end his career in Minnesota. Cody Punsack. Who will be the best receiver in 5 years, Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase? It's a tough question because, Chase opted out this year, so you forget how good he is. Also, Terrace Marshall, without the two of them, looked really good on a bad LSU team, but I think it's going to be Jefferson because I think it's because Jamar Chase is still a potential. Like, you don't know. He hasn't played it down in the NFL yet, where Justin Jefferson is already establishing himself as one of the best wide receivers in the game. Pulford Skull. I think it's time to let Anthony Harris walk. Same with Rudy Barr and Reef. These men have been great for us. Well, some of them. But frees up a lot of money for other contracts, possible free agent signings. Absolutely. Hutter Butter. Do you think with Jefferson getting the record for yards by a rookie, that might help him get Rookie of the Year? It should. It should be his award, but they're probably going to give it to Herbert because he can fog up a mirror and throw a football. Thorvald Von Johnson. Happy New Year, Andy. Do you think the league will keep the expanded practice squad and effective 54-man rosters next year? I think they should. And also the NFLPA would love it because it's more jobs, more guys on the practice squad getting checks. Also, with an extra game, you are going to have more injuries, so it does make sense. Plus, who knows if COVID's going to be gone next season. So yeah, expanded practice squads as well as flexing a couple guys up. You should be able to you should have 4 flexes and be able to flex up 4 guys per game. That's what you should do. Chris Danny Hansen. Commentators for the Packers-Bears games are praising Rodgers like he is a god. It just makes sense. Just makes me despise the Packers more. Yeah, luckily I wasn't watching with the sound on. Actually, don't watch most games with the sound on. Mitchell Rauscher, 2 questions. Urban Meyer to the Jags. I think if Urban wanted to get back into the game, that is a great spot for him. And I know some people are detracting. It's like, well, is his offense going to work in the NFL? He's smart enough to know that the spread option that he ran probably ain't going to fly. So he knows enough to hire a good NFL offense coordinator, good guys around him. His job is going to be to manage, to delegate, to lead, which is what a head coach should actually do, as opposed to being a coordinator with a challenge flag. So I think Urban Meyer would have a great shot with the Jaguars. You got Trevor Lawrence. You have an extra first-round pick. You have an extra second-round pick from the Vikings. You basically have a lot of young talent all over the field at all levels of the offense and the defense, as well as, don't forget, like Jacksonville is like, what, an hour from Gainesville? So he's already a quasi-deity in that area of Florida. So I think that could be a home run. Absolutely. Plus, that's the most coveted GM job. It really is. Pulford Skull. 1, think Blank Lynch can move to safety with an offseason training camp? Yes. 2, could Hercules play linebacker? No. I don't think he has the short area quickness. 3, Dancer, Gladney, Hughes, and Hand. I believe bright future. Gladney played exceptional against the Lions and had a few big hits. Yeah, Gladney fortunately went out on a high note. He's been really up and down the last couple weeks. A4, 7, A2, 9, or 6-2, blah, blah. Who should the Vikings draft at safety? I really like Hufanga from USC. I like Paris Ford. I like both the TCU guys. I like Caden Stearns. I like Eisworth from that Iowa State defense, man. That's a good college defense, man. Especially in the Big 12. Damn. Shiver Timbers. If you had to create a football team, what would the name and location be? Also, what uniforms would you have? You already have more fans than the Chargers, so this would be easy for you. So the easy answer would be like St. Louis or London, or Oakland. Now, I'm going to have a team, 2 locations. Either just put one in West Texas, like Lubbock, or hell, just plop one down in Odessa, Permian, Midland area, right? West Texas, even though, yes, high school football is king out there, just plop an NFL team down out there. And then hire some Texas high school football coaching legends to staff this squad. Let's go. Or, no, this one I've had for a while. So, Albuquerque, the ABQ, and cribbing off of the popularity of Breaking Bad, the ABQ Blue. Let's go. Let's go. And also, just confusingly enough, have the colors be, I don't know, green. Because why the hell not? Now, yeah, the ABQ Blue. That'd be good. That'd be good. George Paulson. Let's say you're going to spend a mid-round pick on an edge rusher. Which of these hypothetical prospects would you choose? So undersized, great college production in small school. 5-star recruit, elite as underwhelming college production motor. No, unquestionable. Give me the good work ethic, high motor guy all the time because, what was it? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Something like that. So, I mean, also, so the fact that they're going to be in the same area potentially because of the small school ness of him. So this is like what? So this is like Max Crosby, prospect A, against, I don't know, Muhammad Wilkerson, I guess, for prospect B. Nah, give me A. Give me A all the time because you're always going to look at B and be like, well, mama, I can change him. You can't really change him. You can't. Especially what happens if you do change them for a short period of time, then they get paid. Then what happens to that work ethic after they get paid? It's rough. Mr. Vikings fans, Derrick Henry is MVP no matter what now. Can't really argue with it. Derrick Henry is our only chance of Aaron Rodgers not winning the MVP. So now we got to hope. God, he was amazing. I wanted him to get 296 so bad. And also potentially break Eric Dickerson's single season record just out of nowhere. Sam Morris. Is it possible that we do bring back Griffin because he says he wants to come back? Minimal deal. Yes. Two foul, Mr. Pregame, halftime, postgame. I decided not to do it. I was kind of lazy yesterday, so it's whatever. Also, since it's the last Sunday of the season, every time the daughter and I make ice cream sundaes, so I was busy. Kane Russell. We all know the greatness of JJ, but one last hooyah in the fact that we finished both four. That he finished fourth in the NFL in receiving, almost 7 yards behind D. Hopkins. Also, Super Bowl predictions. I feel like this is going to be a wonky Super Bowl. This is going to be a weird year. Give me Chiefs and Washington. And then watch Washington win. Chase Young, Super Bowl MVP. Get some. Derek Rundall. What was the first move of the offseason? I think is getting rid of Bailey. Well, personnel-wise, probably. Jets interviewing Dable. He was quarterback coach of the Jets. Who got cut? Oh, Olivier Vernon. Oh, he tore his Achilles. That sucks. That sucks, man. Next up is Randy Moss is the boss. Draft prediction of all linemen, offense and defense, and the final pick will be a linebacker. Of all linemen, no. It's way too much thinking. Corey Stenson. What are the odds that the Vikings will be playing at Seattle in primetime next year? 0. Jay Harris, 1569. It's probably kicking a dead horse, but do you think the Vikings going to load the Cousins deal and look for a new quarterback? I mean, he might be in demand, especially given the way that he's played, but also given the way that he's played, you'd want to keep him. Right? Kirk Cousins will give the Vikings the best chance of winning immediately in 2021. I know that's sort of a controversial opinion, except it's not really. Sammer Salinger Skull. Do you think White's Quill will be available 14? Or do you see possibly where a team from selecting us? Or you mean Wyatt Davis? I think he could be there at 14. Josh Dixon. Who's your favorite edge in this class personally, minus Kwity Paye? I love Kwity Paye as an all-around guy, but if you just want a guy who, screw stopping the run, just get after on the edge, Ujulari's really intriguing. Ujulari's intriguing. Owez intriguing. I don't know. There's just something about Rousseau where I'm not in love, you know? Yeah. Also, one of the pick guys, name escapes me. Anyway, Mr. Viking fan, have you watched The Death to 2020? It's a Netflix special about 2020. Makes it a comedy. It's hilarious. And Samuel L. Jackson, no. Chris Danny Hansen, if you could choose any two former Vikings players in their prime to join the Vikings' current roster, who'd you pick? Randy Moss and John Randall, I guess. Sam Morris, do we trade or draft for a kicker this offseason? Not draft, definitely sign. Bennett Durham, wish me luck. I have a wrestling match tomorrow. Get the pin. 1, 2, 3 pin. Jake Lagavin. Are Gary Kubiak and Rick Dennison tied at the hip this offseason? I really hope not. I think that there should be a change at O-line coach, but also, Dennison used to be a special teams coordinator. In fact, he coordinated the special teams on the two Broncos Super Bowl wins in 97-98. So, I mean, maybe he could retire and become like a special teams consultant. Why not? Andy Strong, thoughts on the Eagles-Washington game? Well, I know that Giants are complaining, but win more than 6 games. And then you don't have to rely on another team making the best decision for them. And if I'm Doug Peterson, you're out of the playoff race, and you want to protect Jalen Hurts and some of your starters because you've had 75,000 injuries this season. So, yeah, I don't blame it all. And also, I love Jalen Hurts' attitude where he was pissed on the sidelines. Like, hey, we're trying to win a game here. I love that fiery competitiveness. It's exactly what you would expect from Jalen Hurts. But, yeah, Eagles made a choice was in their best interest, and sorry it didn't work out for the Giants. Chris Danny Hansen, what would you give for Justin Tucker? I don't know, second-round pick. A non-existent second-round pick. Bawa to Ba. Would you rather have Dakota Dozier or Zach Fulton? I would take Fulton. Well, if cost is the same, I would take Fulton because Fulton actually played at a high level 4 years ago. Dozier's never really had that. Abza Abdi, do you plan on doing a top 5 kickers available in free agency? Yeah, probably. Ben Kornick. Will you do the gritty now since JJ broke the record? Yep, tomorrow. Shiver Timbers. If I see one more national media report compare Trey Lance to Carson Wentz, I'm going to lose it. Yeah, that is the laziest of lazy scouting. Like, they're two completely different players. T-Rag. I get that Kirk isn't the problem, but he is in the way of us fixing the problem by his salary. Take a pay cut. Take a pay cut. Cody Punsack, favorite edge in the draft if the draft was tomorrow. Quiddy pay. Corey Stenson, you for the Dolphins. What do you do with the third overall pick? Wilson or Fields going to be there? It would be tempting, but I don't think they're going to Rose and Tua after one season, especially with no offseason and no preseason. So I could see them trading that to whoever wants that third quarterback. They could get a lot for it too. Or, hell, if they stick and pick, I mean, Penny Sewell would be the obvious choice. But maybe they go Devontae Smith. Or maybe they just go completely bat bleep insane and go Kyle Pitts. I mean, how crazy would that be? Even though they got Gesicki. Miles, start bench cut. Dancer, Gladney, hand. Start Dancer, bench, hand, cut, Gladney, I guess. You're keeping all of them. Pretzel Boy, did you see a retweet of Everson coming back? Yes. Did you see everyone retweet? Stanley Morris, could you look at what our team could look like next year? Yes. Stanley Morris, it can't be just me, but Kyle Rudolph just looks like the bully from the movie Like Mike. Now I gotta look. Oh, no, that's Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad. But yeah, I kind of see it. Yeah, Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad and Game Night and that one really good episode of Black Mirror. That's funny. Next up. Shane Jensen, do you think the Vikings will get rid of Rudy? I think so. I think so, mainly because of the cap situation as well as Irv and Gronklin been looking so damn good. Max Kellenberg, thoughts on the blatant tank job last night by Eagles? I thought it was a brilliant troll and that it got Giants fans to root for them for 3 quarters and then they went heel. It's actually really, really funny. Salinger Skull, third rounder for Hughes. No one's trading you a third rounder for Mike Hughes. Also, record prediction for next year. 11-6, picking up sticks, winning all the chicks. I don't know. I don't know. Love channel, keep it up. Hey, you're the best. Westworld, Dakota Dozier, Tom Compton. Dozier, I guess. Shane, but neither. Jensen, Abdullah or Boone? I would take Boone because of age. Kiskanaway, Thuney or Wyatt Davis? Well, Thuney, you're going to have to pay like $1 bajillion. Wyatt Davis, you're using up your draft pick. I would still pay the money. Actually, why not both? Pay Thuney, draft Davis, Thuney left guard, Davis right guard. Let's go. Actually, both. Ezekiel Lockhart. Step 1, let Kurt go far, far away. 2, fire Zimmer. Okay. Trade Daniil. Okay. Zargo 40. Yeah. Also, keep these short and sweet. Like, brevity is very important here. Zarg goes 44. Who was the worst? Josh Robinson, Chris Cook, Mike Hughes, or Trey Waynes? Waynes actually was decent for a stretch. Hughes, unfortunate with injuries. Chris Cook, there's some down moments for Chris Cook, especially off the field. But Josh Robinson had one good season and then was ass. No, it was Zimmer's first year here. And then they played Chicago and Brandon Marshall and Alshon, and then they just dunked on him because they're all 6 inches taller than him. So I'll go, I guess Chris Cook. Joey Pesek. Bears versus Saints is going to be a fun game to watch. No matter who loses, it's going to be satisfying. I think the Bears are going to get stomped. It's unfortunate. Mexican Bar, have seen the Viking schedule. Yikes. Yes, we've seen it. All right, so that is it. That is the Daily Jerome's live stream. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along and subscribe. Even though it's the off season, we got tons of stuff. In fact, we actually might even have more stuff than during the regular season. We got draft, we got free agency, you guys getting fired and all that stuff. And thank you very much. Let's make 2021 the best year ever. Woo! Skull production value.